I was to describe Pete Price, it's only one word.
A lizard, a reptile, a non-human being.
He's a legend in the city, he's an enigma, he's an icon.
Everything seems excessive with the guy, from his dress sense just to his Julius Caesar haircut.
His radio station was the most listened to in Liverpool.
So I heard Radio City is a bit of a spaceship.
It looks like a spaceship.
Pete was at the top of the tower with all the power, spreading the lies.
That tower with a lizard up the side of it, and that's his headquarters, and it takes him to space because he's a lizard king.
Pete, you're a lizard. Pete, you're a lizard. Pete, you're a lizard. Why are you getting angry about it? Why are you getting angry about it?
He's got this ability to really upset people.
Don't interrupt me.
Well then, don't come on and tell me how to do my show, all right?
I just wanted to make his life a misery, basically.
I am not a lizard!
He actually could be a lizard, and I've worked with him for 7 years and never known it.
He had control over people, and I had to take him down from that.
My name is Peter Price. I was brought up on the Wirral. I went to catering college for a few years. I did hairdressing, but I always wanted to be in show business, and I went into show business.
And here to provide the mirth amid the mid is a bright comedian, Peter Price.
So to get into radio and broadcasting, I was working as a comic and a DJ, and I was doing lots of clubs, but I wanted to get into radio because it sort of sat alongside working as a DJ. I was the first ever freelancer on Radio Merseyside, and I got 5 guineas a week, that's £5, 5 shillings, and I did a show called Never Mind the Price. And it did so well that they doubled it and called it twice the price. So they gave me from half an hour to an hour, but didn't double my money.
When you think of Pete Price and you think he's always putting photos up of dead celebrities and he makes out he knows all these celebrities, it astounds me every day how he does actually know all of these celebrities. Some of the American stars, the London stars, the cast of Corrie, I think he knows their shoe sizes. So he does actually know a lot of celebs, but he does also love to drop a proper name in every sentence that he speaks.
Dave Allen was a friend of mine. Sharon Osbourne's a friend of mine. You know, I've met Mariah Carey about 9 times.
He has got a massive list of celebrities in his phone book, which would fit with the lizard theory, because a shapeshifting lizard would be mates with some of the celebrities that are in his phone.
I've always described myself as the biggest name dropper in show business, and there is a reason, because I really have worked with so many famous people. In fact, I have the autobiography, Name Dropper, and it was a bestseller when it came out. You can't buy it now, which is sad, but you can get it on eBay for £1. It was working with people. I became friendly with Bob Monkhouse because I spent a week with him. I became friendly with Tommy Cooper. Scylla and I were mates. I went and stayed with them in Barbados. So I am a name dropper, but I genuinely know them. And if you saw my address book, wow.
My career history involved Radio City. I was there for 15 years. And I got to work with the lizard, that is Mr. Pete Price, for 7 of those years. And they were very long, tiring years. So I produced him on Magic Radio to begin with. Then also his legendary, iconic Sunday night Pete Price on Zip show.
For anyone who hasn't heard the Pete Price radio show, it's basically Pete kicking off, poking people with a stick until they bite, pick up the phone and scream.
John, you are absolutely pathetic. You are a stupid, silly, little pubescent person.
Oh no, the kids in nuts.
The radio show I had was a late night phone-in that developed. It started off with music and calls, and it sort of developed in its own way. It found its own life, and all of a sudden it became a worldwide thing. Even though it was a local radio station in Liverpool, people from all over the world started ringing in.
You just put your radio back on, you're banned for life. 0151 forever. You will never get on again. I will die first.
With Pete, if he loves you instantly and he'll love you forever. If he doesn't like you, he'll hate you the minute he sets eyes on you, and he will hate you with every fibre of his being till the moment he dies.
Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Pete.
Yes, Stephen. Stephen, switch the radio off in the background. Switch it off. Switch it off.
I couldn't handle Pete when he goes off on one. I've seen it. I've witnessed him lose his shit. He's made people cry in front of me.
There's nights where I've thought, I'm going to have to phone an ambulance here because he is about to have a heart attack.
I do good deeds every time I've gone into town. You know, I've seen well, this is my good deed as a gesture anyway, no thug does this. I've seen a homeless man, you know the Metro Tesco?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's always a homeless man, don't know if you've noticed him sitting outside there. So instead of giving him money, I went to, the Tesco and bought him a corned beef sandwich. And then I went outside and gave him it, and his eyes lit up, and gave him the corned beef sandwich. Mm-hmm. And he went, I love a bit of corned beef. And then he just looked at me like that and then started flipping, going, corned beef, corned beef, corned beef, and all that. And then the whips was yelling, calm down. And he's going, I like corned beef. Pete, you like corned beef? Pete, you like corned beef, man? I like corned beef and all this. I was like, bloody hell, mate, calm down.
0151 472 0967. Hello, Gina.
Big part of my job was answering the phones and speaking to these thousands of people that would ring in every single night and choosing which calls would go through. And that was the fun part for me because Pete often didn't realise, and I only told him a couple of years ago, that if we had someone coming on to prank him, I would wind Pete up beforehand just to get him going. And I'd be like, Pete, Barry's called, he wants to say this about this. And then I'd say, we shouldn't really put him on, Pete. Wind him up down his headphones. Put him on, get him through. Put him on, I want him on now.
I've spent way too much of my life on YouTube searching Pete Price prank calls, and you see the chicken thread where people try and get the phrase smells like chicken into a phone call.
Hello, Paul.
Oh, all right, Pete. I live on the Norris Green myself.
Right.
And you were talking about it earlier on. 2 days back, the wheelie bin goes up in smoke. Kids playing out in the back garden. He runs back into the house, just smoke pouring through the backyard, pouring through. And he says, Dad, that smoke tastes like chicken.
Right.
Yes, it tasted like chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken mac and walla. You've never had chicken mac and walla?
Where are we supposed to laugh?
When I said it tastes like chicken.
I honestly believe some of my listeners are definitely on drugs or happy, slappy tablets or something because they don't seem to have a life anymore.
I have witnessed Pete Price jump from his chair in the studio and hit the ceiling and jump back and jump back and jump back in anger, bright red.
I mean, we all get prank calls. We all get strange fans and followers, and you deal with them how you see fit. I've never had anyone call me a lizard.
When I first heard Pete Price was a lizard, I thought it was Pete Price has got a lizard. I thought, what the fuck's he got a lizard for? And then he said, no, Pete Price is a lizard. And I'm quite honoured to be doing this. I mean, who else would get this done? I went to a place and I thought it was electric, where they're going to give you little electric shocks. It was needles. So it looked like I'd been smacked with an egg jug.
Yeah, so the word lizard started in my little reign of producing Pete Price. I used to think, is it because he looks a bit like a lizard? Which, if you actually look at Pete's face, he's got the look of some sort of amphibian, and I maybe thought it was that.
The thing was, that shocked him when, I don't know, there was a big football match and someone put Pete Price the lizard in this big auditorium.
Hi, my name's Matt Hibbert. I'm a DJ here in Liverpool, Bar Fleet Street, music producer, Tranmere fan for my sins, and part of the Pete Price's Lizard movement. To sum us up, we're a very bad football team. Once every 10 years might win a game, but we're just a not very good football team. Yeah, the Flags come on quite a journey. His first trip was to Wembley 2017. We went back the following year, 2018, and he came with us. We were having a civil reception. This is how little Tranmere succeed. And so on our way down Bowl Street to get the train at like 4 o'clock, who do we bump into? Mr. Pete Price bumped into you.
Up the fucking whites!
Pete, we were the guys with the Pete Price's Lizard flag, and you went, oh, wonderful, wasn't it wonderful? I'm so pleased for Tranmere. And we said, do you not like mine, the flag, and stuff like that? He went, no, he said, it's nice, that flag, because most of the other flags say Pete Price is a cunt.
So Pete Price is a cunt come about in 2005, I think, when Liverpool were in Istanbul, Champions League final, and we got wind that there was a banner that had gone over with the fans, with the team, from Liverpool to Istanbul, and it was held out for the whole world to see.
It was Pete Price is, and then they used the C word. And then the next year the banner was there again, Pete Price is still, and it was just, and it went worldwide.
The first time I was aware of his reptilian origin was the sign at WrestleMania. Within 30 seconds of the show, they're panning the crowd, you know, everyone's going mental, the signs. And there was just this sign on a yellow or orange piece of card, Pete Price is a lizard.
So I like to think I'm just a happy-go-lucky person who's trying to make people laugh, maybe misunderstood. My govy name, my government name's Charlie Gerrard, but I'll identify as Gnarly Charlie. Just a normal kid from Liverpool. I felt like I was always destined to just do something a bit more different. It was round about 2013. One day when I was in college at the time and I was sitting next to two lads and they were talking about this radio DJ that I'd never heard about. Little did I know that day was going to change my life forever. So I knew that everyone was going to be calling in on this late night show with him. So I thought I'll tune in for this one. It's like listening to Dark Side of the Moon for the first time. It just opened up all these different avenues that I didn't know was a possibility. My Pete Price is a Lizard sign started around 2015. That was in Manchester, England. It was in the MEN. I'd just got tickets front row in Monday Night Raw and I was going with my girlfriend. We went into WH Smith. I pulled out a yellow sheet of paper and a black marker and I was thinking to myself, I'm going to do this. Is this how I want to word it? Pete Price is a lizard. I was chuffed with myself. I knew that I was going to be seen on telly. This big black and yellow sign is going to be seen by millions of people.
In regards to the famous sign, not many people know this, but I actually wrote out that sign. I made that sign and Charlie took all the credit for it. So
there would have been Manchester twice. I went to the O2 in London twice. I went to Glasgow once. And we went to Newcastle 3 times. It's part of the rush of people watching a live show. And then I would go out onto Twitter after the fact. And all I'd have to type in was Pete Price is a lizard into the search bar. And then all you'd have to do, see thousands of people, thousands. And it'd just be the best thing ever. Just, that was your night sorted. You'd bask in your glory.
I remember saying to Charlie that wrestling fans are mindless people. As somebody who was a wrestling fan years ago when Charlie wasn't born, and as somebody who's wrestled, Charlie didn't know that, I will stick by the fact that they are mindless people.
WrestleMania is the grandest stage of them all. It's where dreams come true, the boyhood dreams, adult dreams, the grandest stage of them all. WrestleMania 2017 was the one that I attended, WrestleMania 33. After being a lifelong fan of wrestling, to go to WrestleMania, it's honestly a dream come true. But the cherry on top was my secret plan.
We went to Florida for what I thought was our 3rd anniversary, but it had been carefully planned around this WrestleMania.
I knew it, that like my sign was going to be getting the attention that it deserved. I'd come to the end game, this is the last boss battle, and John Cena's about to come out, and I'm right next to the cameraman. And there's the red light and John Cena's coming out. Here's me, front and centre, Pete Price is a lizard. One of the most crowning moments of all time. But little did I know something else was happening at that time. Scrolling through Twitter and I see that Hulk Hogan's opening a brand new beat shop and he's going to be there signing and taking pictures with people. I knew that this was my chance to pounce.
Hulk Hogan is probably the greatest WWE superstar of all time, the most famous wrestler of all time. If you don't know who Hulk Hogan is, then this whole documentary is pointless to you.
The day falls that I'm going to be meeting Hulk Hogan is the day after WrestleMania. So I woke up eagerly the next day. skip down to Hulk Hogan's shop. I'm one of the first 5 in line. Hulk Hogan turns up, camera crew, the lot. First 10 people come on, we're doing this on the telly now live. So already in my head I'm thinking to myself, this isn't going to happen. I'm meeting Hulk Hogan, he's not going to hold this sign. I'm going to be on live telly in America. Go up to Hulk. What's going on? Hulk's there. Oh, where are you from? I'm from Liverpool. Oh, I've been there before, brother, the Beatles. I'm like, yeah, Beatles. Huh, a lizard. I'm literally stood there like, yeah, sound, yeah. Quick snap in a picture. One picture was taken. I was looking at gold in my hands. I had tears in my eyes. Just one of the proudest moments of my life. The reaction from Twitter was the biggest I've ever seen. So when I went home, I had to ask some people to ask Pete to unblock me. I just put Pete Price at the scenes of the crimes of the Zodiac Killer. Pete Price is the Zodiac Killer, and he was not happy with that. That's why he blocked me. So after he unblocked me, Pete reached out onto Twitter and he was saying, who is this boy? I need to meet this boy. I want an interview tonight. There was a picture of me that he's tweeted asking for me to come on. But on that day, I had a lovely day in Epcot in Disneyland planned with my girlfriend, and she was not happy.
We had a plan to go and like have a nice little evening in Epcot and maybe go and watch the fireworks in Magic Kingdom. But then Pete had obviously asked him to be on the radio show, and I was begging Charlie, like, please, like, we've got a nice little evening planned. And yeah, so while we were in Epcot, Charlie was on the phone to Pete for hours, and I was walking around Epcot by myself. I was going on like the rides by myself.
It was a strange call, and it was a strange call because I couldn't seem to pin him down why Pete Price is a lizard. And whatever he answered, it still didn't answer the question, why?
So why me? There must be famous people who are shape-shifting lizards.
Yeah, the Queen. This is where it all stems from.
So,
And people trying to...
why aren't you putting photos of her up? Why me?
Because I'm from Liverpool and I need to expose you. Because Pete, to be quite frank, you sit at the top of that tower and you're spreading your lies, and people are getting
Tell me one lie I'm spreading, Charlie.
You know what they are, Pete.
No, tell me. You're the expert.
Everything that comes out your mouth, my brain's not fazed by you, Pete.
But I haven't got any power. I'm just a presenter on Radio 5 nights
No,
a week.
Jackie, you've got all that power.
But I haven't got any power. I haven't got any power.
You're spreading all these lies.
I'm not. I'm doing a 3-hour programme, and 2 hours is speech and 1 hour is music.
I don't know what you want me to tell you, Pete.
I'm as shocked as anyone why national tabloids are printing stories about Pete Price, local DJ, you know, getting ripped to pieces by Hulk Hogan and people on Twitter.
There was a good few papers that it ended up in. There was probably Daily Mails, Celebrity Star, obviously the Echo, being in the Echo too many times to count. In Pete Price's column, he wrote, I can take a joke, but I can't take this. I never thought I would be writing in my columns such as ridiculous subject as lizards.
I've had people walk past my house, shout it while I'm sitting on my balcony. I must get it sometimes 40 times a day.
It appears in North Korea, Spain, the USA, Australia, Singapore.
I was in the middle of Singapore and somebody's calling me a lizard. Last year, I was in Australia and somebody's calling me a lizard. It's gone worldwide.
Last weekend was the Grand National, which I thought was absolutely superb. I was hounded on Friday by lads wanting selfies with a real-life shape-shifting lizard.
Yeah, he gets mobbed at Aintree. He tries to get into Colleen's VIP box every single year, and poor Colleen must think, oh my God, there's Pete Price again. But he always manages it. He always manages to get a free glass of fizz as well.
I love champagne. I love champagne. I will go anywhere for a bottle of champagne. So Ladies' Day 2017, the Grand National, I go up every year. It's fantastic. I love it. I work in the morning, then I take my badge off and I have a drink. And boy, do I have a drink. I was mobbed by lizard people.
So obviously, at the end of the day, at the end of the races, he's had a drink, everyone's had a drink, it's a lovely sunny day, and he's just walking out to like the taxi queue, and some guy's filming him like this, and he just goes, "Pete," and Pete's like, "What?" And he's like, "You're a lizard, Pete." And Pete's like, "I'm not a lizard, I'm not a lizard." And he grabs the camera and he goes, "I am not a lizard."
I'm not a lizard, I'm not a lizard, I'm not a lizard.
Pete, are you a lizard?
I am not a lizard! I am not a lizard!
Everyone says to me, how did it start? Where did it come from? Biggest one was we were trying for years and Pete was obsessed with trying to get David Icke on the show.
Now, for those people that don't know who David Icke is, David Icke was a huge sports personality, very successful, did really well. He then apparently found God, believed that he was the son of God, and he then started with these conspiracy theories, and one of them was that the royal family and the Rothschilds are shape-shifting lizards that come from another planet. And I wanted David on my show, but he wouldn't come on because I don't think he trusted me, and I really didn't want to set him up. I wanted to find out what it was about. So, having said that, the first time I was ever called a lizard, I can't remember the guy. I think he was about 14. I don't know why. I keep thinking he said he was a 14-year-old boy. He certainly sounded very young. And it was a call that was just a throwaway call. And he said, he won't come on the show because you're a shape-shifting lizard, part of the royal family and the Rothschilds. And put the phone down. And that was it.
I hope there's a recording of the very first time. And I bet you if we found it, he'd be quite taken aback.
There was a recording of Pete Price's first ever meeting with someone who called him a lizard. That's like radio gold, isn't it? That could sit in a museum and just play on loop back to back.
In terms of like lost footage in the archives, that would be the holy grail. Forget anything else. Forget, you know, an episode of Doctor Who that was, you know, thrown out of the BBC in the 70s. Someone out there probably knows that they were the first person to do it, and give them an MBE, and give them an obit, give them a knighthood.
Hi, my name's Luke and I was the first person to refer to Pete Price as a lizard. Weird one really, I think it was about 7 or 8 years ago. I was having a bevy with my mates, there was a few of us, and then obviously when we realised it was a Sunday, I think that's when he has his phone in, so eventually after a few bevies the brother got passed to me, "Oh yeah, ring him up. And at the time, me and my mates used to buzz off David Icke. A lot of his theories and stuff like that, we always used to have a buzz off him basically. So the phone got passed to me and I was sort of like on the spot. Got through pretty quickly, so like sort of had to make something up then. To get on a show, you've got to sort of go through like a bit of a screening or something first by like his producer.
Do you never like try and stop prankers getting on the show?
I would love it when someone would come on, but I'd know and I'd make out I didn't know they were going to be a prank call.
So I was able to, you know, go through unnoticed basically.
Well, this is interesting, so you want me to listen to this? Here goes.
Hello, Pete, you okay, mate?
Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Gaza. I think the way the media are reporting at the moment, I think it's very, very one-sided. I mean, as David Icke said, Pete, I don't think they're Israelis, I think they're Zionists. As the great man, the great Professor David Icke said, that he's Israeli head general, the more Zionist than I don't know, religious for the money, Pete.
I didn't know David Icke was a professor.
David Icke is a professor of he reads the anti-lizard team. I'm going because I hate all the lizards. All the shape-shifting lizards they live on the world. And they live in the moon hollowed out and all the lizards live in there, people. It's terrible like the way they live in the moon.
I think it's very sad that you brought this to this level after you just said about the children dying. I can't see how you can relate to that.
Well, maybe all of it, people are not singing like that, all of it.
You came on and spoke about something really serious about children who are being blown apart and thinking that, you know, the press are not giving a fair crack of the whip to Gaza, and now you've turned it into a comedy sketch.
All I'm saying is that I just think you're a lizard thief.
Your mother would give you a slap if she heard you talking like this.
All my
you're the weird lizard.
We have reason to believe that that's the first time Pete was called a lizard.
Don't lie. It could be. It very well could be the first time he's ever been called a lizard.
No, I wouldn't say that was the first call, and I wouldn't even give him the credit for it, because it's not that clever. Whoever you are, you should hang your head in shame.
Well, in response to that not being the first one, I think the SoundCloud link that it got uploaded to SoundCloud, I think it was 2013, 2014, something like that. You search Pete Price Lizard maybe, and I'd be shocked if you find much more previously to that.
I am not a lizard. I have said quite categorically I'm not a lizard, and I can back it up now with David Icke on tape on my show saying Pete Price is not a lizard.
Am I or am I not a shape-shifting lizard?
You don't sound like one to me, Pete, to be honest. To be absolutely frank. So I wouldn't be concerned about it.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen, from the man himself. It's true, I'm not. Now will you get off my case, all of you?
See David like coming onto his show saying that Pete wasn't a lizard, but suppose he's just part of the conspiracy now as well. Obviously, you know, the New World Order have paid him a few quid.
Just because he came up with the idea doesn't make him, you know, an expert on it. I'd say I'm more of an expert on reptiles. I've been to the zoo.
The crowning moment really was just meeting Pete dressed up as a lizard. That was when I knew I finally mentally broke him. I was home with my girlfriend and I got a text message off of my friend saying, lad, you are not going to believe this. Pete Price is dressed up as a lizard in town. So at this point, Pete's been saying he's not a lizard. He's doubled down on it. He's not a lizard, he's not a lizard, he's not a lizard. Pete's in a lizard costume. I knew that that was just the moment. I see him there at the bus stops. My bus is spinning out.
He just appeared off a bus.
So I get off the bus and he locks eyes with me and I'm just grinning from ear to ear. And he's looking at me like, what's going on here? What's in his hands? And then you're seeing the cogs in his head turning and turning and the realisation.
He came up to me and said, I'm Charlie, and went, oh, hello, Charlie. Do you listen to the show? He said, no, and opened the poster.
This was the final blow-off between me and Pete. At this point, I knew there was no taking it bigger. I'd achieved my goals. I'd met my idol in Hulk Hogan, got a picture with him, spreading a message, and then on arrival from home, Pete Price was dressed up as a lizard. I had broken this old man. He still had integrity, he was respected, he still had his Radio City job, but now he's outside, dressed up as a lizard. Pete accepted his fate. Pete was a lizard.
There's my lovely lizard brooch. I love that. It's fabulous. It was a present from Patrick Fiat in Singapore, and he's one of the people that has embraced the story. And it looks amazing on a tuxedo. And I've got a beautiful lizard just where your stuff is, in the plants, a gold one about that big. Oh, you saw that? Yeah. But there's a great picture, which you'll have to take a picture of and use because it's funny. So this was sent to me from Las Vegas, from Claire. Thanks, Claire. Claire Gallagher, Las Vegas. So, my alter egos, do any of them look like lizards? So this was created by Emma Rogers. She left it on my doorstep. This was given to me by Mish. To all my friends, stop sending me lizards.
He finally embraced it, and that's been the best thing he's ever done. He stopped denying it, and that's the first step. You say, don't they, like, the first step, if you're like, you've got an addiction, like a drug or alcohol addiction, the first step is admitting you've got a problem, and he's finally admitted he is a lizard, and, you know, I think things have improved for him since.
So, why do I embrace the lizard posts? I think I embrace it because, why not? There's no such thing as bad publicity, and this ain't bad publicity. It's kept me alive. I'm a 75-year-old man who's been in the industry now for 50 years. There's no way I'm not going to embrace it, so I will embrace it.
Hello, Mr. Mr. Price.
Hello, young man.
I've been expecting you. This is a bit surreal, this.
What's it all about? Come on, I'm interviewing you now. Why me and why the lizard?
To anyone who doesn't understand what it means, it makes you question what's going on. Why is he a lizard? I remember writing it out there in Manchester for the very first time, and I was thinking to myself, this is gonna something here in this. Now 6 years later, how crazy is that? 6 years later,
it's unbelievable.
It's like a roller coaster for a journey.
It got ridiculously big. I can walk through town now and get mobbed as a lizard.
I love it. I love the fact that you can't say your name, Pete Price, without being recognised with Lizard. I feel like my mission's done. I'm grateful that you now get paid for it, by the way. And it's not just a joke. At least you got some monetary gain in it. I can't believe this is happening.
No, I can't either. And it was great when I met you outside the Royal Court. I've got that photograph, which was fun.
That's one of my fondest memories of all time. Because every time someone would say, they've seen Pete, he's here, he's there, I'd be chasing you around thinking, I'm never going to see this man. You have been the conversation in my life all around the world. When I've worked in Vegas, when I've worked in Singapore, you, I promise, hand on my heart, are the main part of the story. You and the young lad, whoever he was, that started that. Yeah.
I'm just like
I know. You need the lizard still in here.
Yeah.
Oh, all these strangers coming through the radio station.
Yeah, going on, right?
So I believe you are the person that claims you were the first ever caller about the lizards.
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
Because it's a fact. I was the first.
I've got to tell you, you're wrong. The first caller ever was a young lad who was not even talking seriously, and then just came out with, you won't have David Icke on your show because you are a shapeshifter lizard. No. So I would say you're a fake.
If you look, Pete, have you got the internet?
I have the internet.
If you search on Twitter, Pete Price Lizard, before the 24th of June 2014, not one thing comes up. Ooh. You can find my call on Spotify.
No, your call might be the
24th of June.
Yeah, but you might have been the first call. But the actual call about Lizard never went anywhere because it was a nothing call.
There's 2-on-1 Lizard accusers here, and there's one Lizard.
It's like being back on my phone and not getting paid. Well, whoever you are, it's been nice to meet you. I love your colour scheme, and it really works well on camera.
Thanks very much.
Charlie, I just thank you very much indeed for everything, and it's been an experience. Who'd have thought all those years ago we would be here in a studio talking garbage?
I don't know why Pete Price as a lizard, as a phrase, as a movement, is funny. It's just one of those things where it just is. Some things in life are just funny, and they don't need any like deep dive Vice articles or a 30-minute Vice documentary on why is this joke funny. It's not even a joke. That is it. There is no story. There's no reason why it's funny. There's no explanation why it's funny. It just is funny, and it's just a fact Pete Price is a lizard.
So I think Pete deserves some kind of award for this, for the way he's handled the lizard and turned it into a global thing, not just in Liverpool, not just in the UK. This is around the world.
So really, he's an icon, and I think, God forbid if anything happens to him, he should be stuck in Lime Street in a statue between Ken Dodd and Bessie Braddock.
The lizard phenomenon with Pete Price is going to be here to stay for many years after poor Pete isn't. I'm telling you now, it isn't going away. It needs to go on his gravestone, and the gravestone needs to be green with a stone lizard on top of the gravestone, and he will love that. He'll be looking up in his deathbed, smiling at the fact that it says Pete Price is a lizard on his epitaph. I think it'll be here for years and years to come because people love it, and he loves it now. Liverpool loves it, people all over the world love it, Hulk Hogan loves it. Yeah, let's keep it going for as long as we can.
You'd probably get a crocodile skin coffin made or something when
I worry now with the phenomena of the lizard. because when I die, and you know, I'm getting old, I'd like to be remembered more than by being a lizard. I have visions of lizards all over my coffin and my friends embracing it, which I will come back and haunt them if they do it.
God, I think he means so many things to Liverpool. He's, you know, to the older generation, people seeing him on stage as a comic. To the younger generation, people just love listening to him lose his shit on a Sunday night on the radio. And no matter who you speak to in Liverpool, as I said, everybody knows him. And again, you know, he's been a friend to people, whether that's someone on the radio who's listened to him and took comfort from what he's got to say, or he's been that comedy figure that we all like to take the piss out of on the side.
He wants to live on through whatever way we can keep his name alive, and whoever come up with the lizard thing, I've given him a gift. You've given him a legacy that he didn't think up for himself. You've done the hard work. You've made him now the Lizard King for his life, for my life, for my kids' life. He will forever be known for as long as there's people on this earth as Pete Price, the Lizard.
Hey, Sarah, Sarah, come on all the audience. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Hey, Sarah, Sarah, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Hey, Sarah, Sarah. Then I grew up and fell in love. I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead. Everyone! Will I be rich? Day after day. Here's what my sweetheart said. Hey, Sarah, Sarah, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Hey, Sarah, Sarah. What will be, will be. Last verse. Now I have children of my own. I ask myself, what will they be? Will they be handsome? Will they be rich? I'll tell you tenderly. Be finished. Hey, Sarah! Sarah! Whatever will be. Come on this side. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. Big finish now. Que sera, sera. Give yourself